Welcome back. The boys are back in town. Training camp is almost underway for the Lethbridge Hurricanes. Returning players and Canes hopefuls began arriving at the NMAX Center at 2 o'clock this afternoon for official registration. Many of the club's returning players have been in town for a few days, though. There will be an on-ice session tonight, but camp will kick off into high gear first thing tomorrow morning. And from the coaching staff to the players, they couldn't be more excited.
Well, it's just going to be pretty competitive. I mean, obviously you're not going to keep 5 or 6 16-year-olds. I mean, nobody does that. But I'll say one thing: there's definitely 6 16-year-olds that could play in the league this year of ours. So
I'm very excited. It's different. You get on the ice over summer, and I've been skating for a couple months now, and I've just been waiting for this day. Get out with the guys, just enjoy the whole thing. Really, I'm just going to enjoy camp.
Yep, hopefully another exciting. Hopefully not exciting, but better than last year. Hopefully we'll be getting wins now and make a long playoff run. It feels good to be back with all the guys and getting to see everyone and everything. So it'll be a good year.
I want that spot more than anything. Since the start of the summer, that's been my goal. Since the start of last season, that's been my goal. So that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah, how nice is it to be back in your own arena instead of 13th Street, where it's easy for me to get across the street and do interviews?
Yeah, well, it's night and day being here. Like, this facility is the renovations they've done and what we have downstairs, and it's night and day.
You almost saw a little bit of a smile, a little lip curl from Rich Preston there. Training camp is open to the public, by the way. The Hurricanes held their annual general meeting last night. The Canes lost over $600,000 last year. They budgeted for a loss of over $100,000 this season. The past president told shareholders last night that they didn't generate the revenue that they'd hoped from the scoreboard and season ticket sales. The hockey club is hoping to negotiate with the city to help cover some of those costs. And the Hurricanes announced their board of directors for the upcoming season. And here they are. New to the fold are Hurricanes alum Nick Polytronopoulos and former midget AAA coach Doug Paisley. They'll be joined by some familiar faces, including Pat Shimbashi, Dave Olson, and Rick Braden. A new president has yet to be named. Past President Don Clark decided not to seek re-election. The NHL's collective bargaining talks with the NHL Players Association wrapped up for the day today as the union confirmed that the league made another proposal for a new collective bargaining agreement. Both sides will resume talks again tomorrow after the Players Association reviews the latest proposal. While NHLPA Executive Director Donald Fehr would not disclose any details, he did say that it wasn't different in some respects from the original proposal and didn't feel better or worse about it, one way or the other. Fehr also added that more players would be arriving in New York to take part in tomorrow's session. In 04-05 lockout year, many players went overseas to continue playing, and it looks like they are looking at that option once again, depending on how long this lockout lasts. Reports have it that Evgeny Malkin is talking to KHL teams in Moscow about playing on a week-by-week agreement in the event of a lockout on September 15th. From the Tampa Bay Lightning, Martin St. Louis and Steven Stamkos also publicly stated that they would keep playing if the NHL barred the players. 37-year-old St. Louis told the Tampa Bay Times that he didn't want to take another full year off. If the NHL wants to shut us down, he said, we'll go play somewhere else. During the lockout that saw the entire 04-05 season canceled, a large number of the NHLers accepted contracts to play in Europe and returned the following season when the new CBA was signed, of course. Rugby season is almost right around the corner as well. The Lethbridge Pronghorns held a tune-up clinic yesterday at University Stadium, finishing up with an exhibition tilt against Queen's University. And it didn't go the Horns' way. The Gales win the game 38-14 in a split squad exhibition match. The Horns were without several of their key starters. Next up for the club, a Quebec tour that includes games against the Laval Rouge et Or and the Guelph Griffins. And there is your look at sports for now, Jackie.
Okay, well, coming up next, remember we had the story about Prince William rescuing the Canadian women?
Yes.
We get to hear from her coming up next.
Bet you she was excited.
Ooh.